Think back to 1999. The new millennium was upon us, and out pops a film that blew everyone's mind. The Matrix. Even though I was only 10 at the time, it didn't stop me from watching it. That film was so fucking cool. In school, we would put the back of our heads on desks and fling our arms around, copying the stereotypical Matrix-style slow-motion action. Man, we loved that film. It was one of my favourite films for a long time. Then, jumping ahead to 2002, came a new console to knock the shit out of the competition between Sega, Nintendo and Sony. The Xbox. For a long time, the Xbox was considered some sort of mythical console, as not many people had one, but everyone wanted one, after hearing about games like Halo. That was until my 13th birthday, when I'd saved up enough money for my very own Xbox. To save money, I didn't get a game with it. I bought one separate, and the first game I saw was Enter the Matrix. I saw that glowing green case and nearly wept. Oh, fuck yeah, a Matrix game. That's what I thought. So I bought it, without even thinking twice. My Xbox was yet to be delivered in the post. I had just the one game sat on my shelf, and I was shitting myself with excitement. Then that fateful day arrived where I received my black and green beast. Completely ignoring anything I was supposed to do that day, it was finally time to play The Matrix on the Xbox. Now you're probably pretty bored at this point thinking, fuck man, why the life story? Well, I'll tell you why. Because this game was one of the biggest disappointments ever.
All we can do is hope that somehow this disc reaches Zion, and if it does, it's not too late.
Whatever's in that box cost Thaddeus his life and the lives of his crew. And I have a feeling if we don't get to it first, it's gonna cost us a whole lot more.
There is only one way to enter the Matrix.
We're in.
Okay, before we even begin looking at the game and get to the first problem, you don't play as Neo. God, that sucks. Instead you get two minor characters, Ghost and Niobe. No one gives two fucks about them, everyone just wanted to play as Neo. He was the character everyone loved. He kicked ass. You wouldn't want to play as him. So we're off to a great start already, but whatever.
Enter the virtual world of the Matrix. A parallel universe to the Matrix Reloaded.
Actions that take place in the game that you move through and play affect the film plot.
Packed with 1 hour of exclusive footage.
In the video game, there's certain information that you don't get from the movie.
The whole game is designed to fill some of the backstory between the second and third Matrix films. So it's not really all that amazing, but with a game based on the Matrix you wouldn't really care about the story, more about the way the game plays, right? Right.
If we fail, Neo fails, and that cannot happen at any cost.
Before you choose your character, you treat some nice DVD quality cutscenes of the live actors before it fades into the blocky reality of the game, where I honestly have mixed feelings. Some things in the game look good, and others look like crap. The environment is repetitive and at times poor looking, but others can be good and stand out. Some character models are repeated, which isn't usually a problem, but there's several cutscenes where it's obvious that the same sprite has been repeated. I mean, look at those two. Clones? I don't know. Maybe they're crime-fighting twins. And again, some character models look cheap and poor, whereas others look good. It's really weird. The controls are, awful, really. They feel disjointed and badly mapped. You move around with the left analog stick, and the right controls the cam... Wait, no it doesn't. It makes you go into first person mode. What the fuck? You punch, kick and grab with the X, Y and B buttons, and jump with A. The left trigger causes you to go into slow motion called focus. It also allows you to dive and run up walls, the kind of thing you expect, which is pretty cool. The other trigger when pressed allows you to strafe, which is a bit awkward. As for grenades and guns, use the white button for grenades and black for your guns. You also use the same buttons to use grenades and the guns, which I really don't like. Now all the guns auto aim, or you can single out an enemy to attack. It feels disjointed. The whole thing feels like Max Payne, except not as good. When you enter hand-to-hand combat, you snap onto your enemies, which helps you focus on what you're doing. But there's times when it gets in your way, as the only way to unsnap is to run away, which you need to do sometimes, and it feels awkward. The story takes you to some pretty interesting places, like skyscrapers, sewers, and Chinatown. Each one gives you a different and varying objective, which keeps what's actually repetitive gameplay interesting. However, every now and again you get some really awful driving stages. This is the goddamn Matrix! Why am I driving? And I won't mind, but it's really bad. The environments are poorly detailed, everything feels like it's on the PlayStation 1. The roads jut off in sharp turns and everything's just horrible. Crashing your car at full speed into things only knocks a couple of hit points off, but getting shot drains your health in seconds. And unlike the rest of the game, your hit points don't regenerate, so if you die, you have to do everything again. Fuck! If you play as Niobe, you have to do the driving, which isn't hard. You can get Ghost to pop out the window and shoot the closest thing, but he has like a timer. You can only use him for so long, I don't quite understand why. If you play as Ghost, the roles are reversed and the AI drives. The driving AI does a lousy job. And when you're playing as Ghost, it's a bit boring doing nothing but firing as you don't even reload, especially on the motorway level where you can spend a good 5 minutes doing nothing. There's another similar type of stage where you drive the Logos, the team's hovercraft, again driving for Niobe and gunning for Ghost. It's just as bad as the driving and has exactly the same problems if not more. I mean, look at that! Can you tell where I'm going? I really can't. If you're playing as Niobe, you don't have to worry about using Ghost, but in return, he does a shit job of defending as you still have to shoot sometimes. The more you play, the more problems you'll find. Your ammo is pretty limited, for example. It makes sense that you can only carry so much, but then how come you can only carry 12 extra shotgun shells but can carry as many guns as you can find? You do find a lot of guns to play with though, which is nice. And if you get 2 guns that are the same, you can dual wield, which is cool as fuck. When you're using focus, everything you're against just falls to shit. Except sometimes, when you kill enemies using focus and guns, it takes them a few seconds to die. While they don't have any life left and they're technically dead, they don't go into the dying animation, and until then they can get cheeky punches or shots in, which really pisses me off. One of the few redeeming features of this game is its soundtrack. Although repetitive after long periods of playing, the music always follows the mood. The music is fast and epic in tight situations, and quiet and silent in times of suspense. It really goes back to the basics of entertainment in films where it's not always what you can see that creates suspense, but the music. This gives the game a good atmosphere. It's as if it knows how you feel in each situation, although I don't know what music it'd play if I knew how pissed off I was. Metallica maybe? That'd be cool. Additional gameplay comes into the form of what's called hacking. In hacking, you use a sort of MS-DOS simulator type mini game thing where you put in some commands and follow some clues for an extra bit of story, but ultimately has a couple of uses. You can view a few unlocked files that include gun specs and character models, and bios which include characters from the film series. You can also use codes to give yourself extra equipment during the levels of the game, and activate cheats. There's also a couple of codes for an extra bonus level, which is crap. And you can unlock a player versus player mode where you can pitch 2 characters against each other. Oh, and car people. Wait, what? Car people? What the fuck? The worst thing about this is that it teases you with other characters from the film, like Morpheus and Trinity, but still no Neo. If they did include Neo though, I think I'd be just as annoyed.
It's like, hey, you want to play as Neo? Well, tough shit. You want to play as the other cool characters instead? Well, tough shit too. You can only play with them on multiplayer mode that you can't even get to without a fucking code. Fuckers. All in all, the game's not bad at times, but pretty shit at others. It's about 7 years old now, and it was shit back then. So I don't just think I'm picking on it because it's old. I guess the biggest problem that everyone had was that you couldn't play as Neo, and instead the game just leached off the Matrix series' success. For me, personally though, the biggest problem I had was how let down it made me feel, not just about the game, but about the Xbox as well. I got Halo a couple of weeks later though, that made me feel a lot better about the whole ordeal. All in all, the game's one big fat disappointment, so it gets 5 out of 10, and 2 middle fingers. Oh, and 1 big broken heart.